22-year-old Andre Ingram set the NBA world on fire. He's called up from the Lakers' G League affiliate after playing there for 10 years. Here's the moment he got his call up.
What's up, guys?
Ray, what's up, man?
Joey, how you doing? Nick, what's going on? What's up, Coach?
Thank you also for, I know we were supposed to meet tomorrow, but we had to move the exit meeting up to today because the LA Lakers want to call you up and sign you for the rest of the season.
I wonder why those two big guys are back here. Wow, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you, boss.
Well, you know, just come on tomorrow and get ready.
Yeah, that's all there is to it.
I want that 48%.
Yeah, I do too, trust me.
Congratulations.
Yeah, they called me up for the last 2 games of the season. She's screaming, you guys can hear it.
What's up, my young gun?
Big man. Good to see you, boss. Appreciate you, man.
Well deserved.
Quite a step up, man. I can't grasp it. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, too.
Yes, sir.
That's great.
That was amazing. Woo! Man, that's amazing. My brother, when I was in the 9th grade, got drafted by the Lakers. Magic was going into his 2nd season. And I've been around enough pro athletes that people dreaming, kids dreaming, then they become adults. You know how many times people told him, man, you need to quit, man. You need to get a real job. Man, you ain't no basketball player. And that right there, the satisfaction of getting that phone call and then have Magic come through the door, oh, man, that's good stuff right there.
10 years in the D League, then the G League, had multiple offers to go overseas to make more money. By the way, he wasn't even on the highest level G League contract. He was making less than $20,000 a year. He stayed because he thought his best chance to ever make the NBA was to stay in the G League.
Love it.
He talked about how his wife, at any point, she could have said to him, listen, we got to start making some money. She always supported him. He makes 13 grand now, by the way, for these 2 games, and he was awesome yesterday.
How did he do?
He hit his first 3 shots.
Yep.
He then hit a shot with less than a minute left to make it a 1-point game. He shot 48% from 3.
Oh, he was
48%
shots
from
up
3 in the
He was like,
G League.
y'all ain't called me up for 10 years. Let me get this thing going. Let me show y'all what I was down there doing.
Man, the NBA is such a cool league. This
I know,
is one of the coolest
great
stories.
tweet last night.
What a great way to put a bow on this NBA season. That's Andre Ingram.
Yeah, or after the game.
Oh, yeah. Sure, fair enough. This is great. I mean, this is an awesome story. It's an awesome story.
That's why you love the league.
Yeah.
All right, time for other stories to start your morning. Le'Veon Bell and the Steelers reportedly.
He's younger than me, man. I'm washed.
Not far off in negotiations. We haven't said that in like 5 years. The Steelers have increased their offer from what was believed to be $13 million annually. So it seems like the two sides could agree to terms sooner than later. CC, what do you make of this latest developments?
I'm sick of hearing about it.
Yeah.
It's something the Pittsburgh Steelers don't do. We had Jerome Bettis here the other day. No one knows that organization closer to him than him. And the continue negotiating in the paper, continuing to allow information to be leaked. Like, this is no news. Like, let us know when you got a contract. You've been doing this to us for 2 years. All right? I thought you were leaving Pittsburgh. They're trying to paint you out to be a villain. Like, I don't like the fact, and I think he's gone about it the wrong way with Pittsburgh by negotiating through the public, by having this information out there, and I think it's not served him well. And I think that's why some of the people you talk about in the local media there, they give him a hard time because of that.
If those dollar figures are accurate, though, that their offer was around $13 million a year, and the Steelers have since increased it, then Le'Veon's done just about as well as he possibly could do. Like, if that's accurate, if they're offering him any type of deal that starts around $13 to $14 million a year, you got to take that deal, Le'Veon Bell, assuming that there's any guaranteed money associated with it, assuming just first couple years are guaranteed. That is setting the new running back marketplace, as we've talked about. That is nearly doubling the next highest paid running back. That's as well as Le'Veon's going to do anywhere.
All right, let's stick with the NFL here. Rams GM Les Snead says that Aaron Donald is on the verge of being the highest paid defender in the NFL. Von Miller of the Broncos is currently the highest paid defensive player, making about $19 million annually. CC, what do you think? Do you think Donald is the best defensive player in the NFL?
It's not a matter of do I think he's the best player. I know he's going to be the highest paid. I mean, he's definitely one of a few guys that I would look at if I was having a fantasy football draft. The only thing I can say about Aaron Donald that gives me a little bit reservation, as a defensive tackle on a defense last year in the Rams, it was mediocre. Yeah, he was defensive MVP, but that defense was mediocre. If I was potentially going to draft a guy, I would potentially go for a defensive end who can put more pressure on the quarterback, cause more complications for the offense compared to a defensive tackle. It's just more of a position preference if I was trying to maximize my defense with the money.
If you're going to play interior defensive line, you could be the best defensive player in the league, but in order to be the most impactful defensive player in the league, you need to be next level transcendent. Like we saw JJ as an interior defensive lineman, 20-plus sacks multiple years. Bruce Smith did it. Reggie White did it all over the defensive line. But I just mentioned 3 of the greatest D linemen ever. So I think Aaron Donald's talent might be he's the best defensive player in the league. I think it's almost impossible to be the most impactful defensive player in the league at his spot unless you are one of the 2 or 3 best to ever do it.
All right, on to the NBA. Tonight, the Cavs host the Knicks to close out the season. LeBron says he intends to stick to his zero dark 30 plan. No social media during the playoffs. For reference, Nick and I will not be doing that during the playoffs. CeCe, how important is it to eliminate distractions and social media distractions during the playoffs?
I like the fact that LeBron, he's been consistent about it, and the truth of it, social media doesn't help you. I mean, all the athletes are involved in social media, but when it comes to winning games and getting better, his most important time of his life, he's not going to have social media. To me, it's just a stamp of approval that, yeah, social media, it's overrated. It's not going to be able to help LeBron and the Cavs get to his goal. And for him, it's less stuff for him to have to worry about coming down the stretch. He's worried about how they're going to win, how they're going to rebound, how they're going to defend. Those are the things the most important in the next 2 months.
And I think for a lot of guys in the league, especially guys LeBron's age or at least a little bit younger, it'd be a hard thing to do. Like most of us, I'm LeBron's age, KD's a little bit younger. Like, we are addicted to our devices.
You guys know.
And so, yeah. And so, like, LeBron has, as CeCe mentioned, this has been part of his routine, that he will basically log off of everything once the playoffs begin. I think it has served him well. I don't think it's a huge deal, but I think it is at least a slight edge as far as not listening to the noise surrounding him and his team throughout these NBA players long now, throughout this 2-month postseason run they're about to start.
All right, last night the Jazz beat the Warriors by 40 points. I have to say it slowly like that just for emphasis. Utah can secure 3rd place with a win over Portland tonight. You know, since February 1st, only the Rockets have a better winning percentage than Utah. Nick, how dangerous can the Jazz be in the playoffs?
Man, we got to give this team respect now. Like, we can't all year long talk about that the West is tough. It's man, look at how deep the West is. And then a team that might finish 3rd in the West be like, oh yeah, they're just a good story. More than a good story. They have a star in Donovan Mitchell. They might have the defensive player of the year in Rudy Gobert. This is a dangerous basketball team.
I've been seeing this in Utah for a long time. It just didn't start now. It just didn't start the last few seasons with Gordon Hayward. It started going back to Karl Malone, John Stockton days. There's not a lot of respect that comes out of Utah. They're a great team at home. They give you problems on the road. I think they got the 4th best home record. So this is an organization that even when they play good basketball, they don't get the type of respect and recognition. But, yes, they are a dangerous team. Yes, they do present some matchup problems for other teams. But don't look past Utah, because we're talking about the Western Conference being the hardest ever. What if they win a couple games? Take a team to 6 or 7 games. That's what makes it tough for Houston or Golden State to be able to win the championship. So, Utah is for real.
All right, tonight the Oklahoma City Thunder close out the regular season. Russ, right there. He needs 16 rebounds to average a triple-double. Carmelo Anthony jokingly said that Russ steals rebounds from his teammates. CeCe, how incredible would it be for Russ to average a triple-double in consecutive seasons?
It would be nice. We haven't had a whole bunch of conversation around it. And I think with a lot of the negative, the lack of OKC being a spectacular team, that we've kind of gotten away from Russ and the triple-doubles. When you look at their overall record, like how much of an impact has it had on the season? Surprisingly, coming down the last 2 weeks, said, man, if Russ is able to pull a certain number of rebounds, he can have a triple-double. It's like, Really? Like, that's still part of the equation of what can happen to
I was
him?
on the phone talking to you.
I mean, from a historic standpoint, it's significant, but I'm into the team. I'd like to see the team play better. I'd like to see them have 5 to 8 more wins. That would be more important to me than getting 16 rebounds and averaging a triple-double.
This would matter to you more if they were a little more
If they had played up to
heading
their
into the-
potential.
Okay.
All right? This year's team, they have been, if not the biggest disappointment, one of a couple big disappointments in the NBA.
Yeah, because we made a big deal about it last year.
Well, it was the novelty of it. We hadn't seen it done since Oscar Robertson did it, and a lot of people believed, well, it never would be done. Like, people looked at the pace they played in Oscar Robertson's era, also that Oscar was a truly special, one of the 10 greatest players in the history of the sport. And Oscar only averaged a triple-double during a season once, but over the course of his first 6 seasons, cumulatively, he averaged a triple-double. So, like, he was a once-in-a-lifetime player in a different era. We didn't think we'd ever see it again. So when Russ was approaching it, when there was preseason buzz before last year about Russ doing it, and then he fulfilled that, it was a huge story. This year, the novelty's worn off. I think he's going to do it. Like, if Russ needs 16 rebounds, he's going to go get those 16 rebounds.
But who cares?
I don't want to say who cares because listen, if it were easy to do, other guys would have done it. But CeCe's point that this style is not translated to more wins for them, that is the indictment on it. And that is one of the reasons why last year 47 wins given his supporting cast was actually a pretty good accomplishment. This year, 47 wins, which is where they sit right now, given his supporting cast, is disappointing, even though Russ is averaging same rebounds, same assists, and a higher field goal percentage than he did last season.
All right. The NFL draft is 15 days away. Have Platform will mock draft. Of the 10,000 questions out there surrounding the top-tier quarterbacks, most of them aimed at former UCLA quarterback Josh Rosen. Is he too slight of frame? Is he too arrogant, too cocky, too rich, 2 chains? Rosen addressed these concerns in an interview with ESPN. Quote, my family isn't like stupid wealthy, but I'm coming from a place where if football doesn't work out, I don't have to work at McDonald's. Other NFL players had the same opportunities. I just haven't tried to hide it or fool teams into thinking I'm someone I'm not. My passion for this game lies in the game, not my need to play it. Tons of players needed this game, needed the money, played it out of obligation and burnt out. I don't need it, and I still give it everything to it. CeCe, what is your reaction? There's a lot there, but your reaction to Josh Rosen's comments.
Josh need to be quiet. Josh don't know nothing about pro football. He don't know why guys played in the past. He don't know why guys burned out. He don't know that the average lifespan of the last 30 years has been 3.2 years. So it's not burnout. It's called being the elite of the elite. It's called only 21,000 people have ever done this. So for me, he's naive, like a lot of rookies. He also said that if Tom Brady has 6 rings, then I want 7. Well, okay, tell that to the Jets when you go into their locker room. Tell that to one of these losing teams at the beginning of the draft. You went to Cleveland. Imagine saying that to Cleveland. Hey, guys, I'm going to win 6, 7 Super Bowls. Well, really? Because we ain't been in 6 or 7 playoff games. So for me, the rookies are naive, and they keep falling for answering all these questions the wrong way. Where his parents, what his parents did, has nothing to do with the NFL. Him saying that, oh, because my parents, I don't have to take a job at McDonald's. Like, what kind of insight? Like, is he there's a lot of other jobs, Josh. You don't have to have a minimum wage job. It's not like guys in the NFL going to the NFL, like they didn't have nothing else, like they don't have other skills. So for me, he's just a naive kid who doesn't know a whole bunch of like pro football, and he keeps stepping in it. I don't mind people being bright, but you can't explain to me why guys are good in the NFL and why they're not when you've never been in the NFL.
CeCe, one of the things you said to me before the show was that if Josh had played this differently, that his family background could be viewed as a plus.
Absolutely.
You talked about how I forget the exact, the recruiting story about dinner tables. Like, yes. Can you relay that to the...
Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer said he likes to sit down with families, both parents, husband, wife, kid, with parents that have a normal dinner time, that have a normal schedule, people that are professional, that the expectations at the dinner table, like I don't mind taking a kid single parent. I don't mind taking a kid from the projects. But also, I have a thing about people that have high expectations in their life. And just because your parents have been successful or been educated, that's not a detriment coming into the league. But how you position it and how you talk about it, I believe, has been a negative for him.
Right. So the point, like, that we could, there's the idea that, oh, he's going to be rich. There's not a lot of rich kids in the league. He's not going to, if it gets tough, he could walk away. That is
actually
one thing.
There's guys in the locker room that are richer than his parents.
Absolutely. No. But the point that I'm saying is, it could be positioned like that. It could also be positioned as we were talking before the show, that you've got a lot of expectations, that all of a sudden there's a lot of, you have to achieve super highly, at a super high level to be considered success in that family. Where Josh is, I think, setting himself up, and everybody, I shouldn't say everybody knows, but if people who watch the show know, like, listen, I think he's the best quarterback in the class. I also happen to like how intellectually curious he is. I like that part of him. But where Josh is hurting himself with people similar to my partner here, who are the people he's going to be in a locker room with, is he seems to be talking about things that he doesn't know about, and it's rubbing them, I believe, the wrong way. You talked about his biggest hurdle when he gets to the NFL.
It's one thing to be smart, but it's another thing to ask questions and sound stupid. To say, oh, my parents, yeah, they've been successful. Yeah, I don't need football. I wouldn't have to work at McDonald's. Well, who would have to work at McDonald's? A guy trying out for an NFL team. So I just think he's naive to the intellect of the players that are coming into the league.
So tell me how that affects, and I understand completely what you're saying, and I understand, and admittedly, he said he stepped in it many times along the way, and I think the reason he did this interview was to try to, I don't want to say put a Band-Aid on that, but maybe explain some of the points from which he was coming. But tell me how that translates to football, and like how that will affect him as a football player.
The players don't care. Like, wherever he's getting drafted right now, the players don't care about that.
And that would
stuff.
affect the way he plays?
One thing that the players tell rookie players, when you come into the locker room, don't come in with your press clippings. Don't nobody care about what he did at UCLA. Don't nobody care about what his parents did.
Could that keep him, though, from being successful?
I'm not going to use that against him. No player knows what's going on in the NFL till you get in the NFL locker room. They will be shocked, like players have been for decades, the type of people in there, the type of mentality in there, and how hard it is to repeat success. That's what it is. As smart as he is, he's still very, very naive about the business that he's getting ready to get drafted in.
The hardest thing for him, though, in your opinion, tell me if I'm wrong here, is not going to be the adjustment as far as family wealth. It's not going to be his level of intelligence. The hardest thing for him is going to be walking into an NFL locker room. The offense they're speaking might as well be another language, and the violence of it. The fact that he is not some untouchable. He's the best player on UCLA's team. He's the highest draft pick on UCLA's team. Special rules surrounding Josh Rosen. Whoever he drafts, he's going to be third quarterback on the depth chart in his first day there.
Yep.
The rules as far as don't touch him at practice might not apply to him the way they apply to other guys.
He's going to be the end of every joke. He's going to be getting taped up to a goalpost. He's going to get big practical jokes pulled on. He's going to get put in his jersey, stuff put in his trousers. Like, he's going to be at the bottom of the totem pole. And being smart, does that help you get from the bottom to the top? Yes, I believe it's a benefit. Intellect and learnedness is a benefit in pro sports. So I never knock people that are smart, because there are a lot of smart people there. But you have to learn how to use your intellect to be able to answer questions in a relative way, and stop looking like some kid. Like, he has no clue what's happening in the NFL. He's going to be shocked.
And when you say he's going to be shocked, I can't get over a story you told me unrelated to Josh months ago. It's about one of the teammates you played with that you hold in the highest regard, John Randall.
Yes.
John Randall, literally, the home he grew up in, dirt floor, literal dirt floor, right?
He had his locker right before you go to the field. And he had a picture of, I can't call it a hut, I can't call it a house, but the structure had no plumbing and had a dirt floor. And everyone who played with Johnny Randall knew that that was up in his locker. And every day he was in a pursuit not to go back there. So Josh talking about, oh, I might not have to go to McDonald's. There's a lot of guys in the locker room like Johnny Randall that are going to be your teammates. Guys going to be fighting for you, and you need to relate to them on some level. And that part, I believe, Josh is going to have to adapt to, because there's more people in the locker room like Johnny Randall than there are like Josh Rosen.
All right, we'll break there. Coming up, can the 76ers trust the process all the way to the NBA Finals? Next on First Things First.